Welcome to the podcast that questions everything, from conspiracies to philosophy, from science to religion. We will be looking at the construct of the illusion, and as always, we will question everything. Hello and welcome to Everything's an Illusion, the podcast where we question everything. I'm your host Rob Wallace, and tonight, this evening, we are joined once again by the bearded master of sci-fi, Mr. Greg Andrew. How you doing, Greg?
Hello, this is Greg Andrew of the universe.
And I think that's a very appropriate intro voice, because tonight's episode is all about aliens, and that's aliens in every facet of the word that we can come up with.
Yep, sounding good. Let's get back to some old school. Everything's an illusion. One subject, two guys sorting out aliens.
Boom.
Easy.
So just a wee rundown brief of the kind of big topics that we're going to cover to entice and capture the audience so that you stick around for this gold. So we're going to do a wee brief, and then ancient aliens, all things ancient, abduction, extra physical, so beyond the physical. We're going to species, then we're going to technology, then we're going to things about the size of the universe, and then we're going to time. So there's some huge subjects. If you're into aliens, you're into sci-fi, you're into fucking thinking, stick around. Everything's an illusion. The podcast where we question everything. Right, so hit us with your brief thing, Greg. What's the how did you get into the old alien thinking lark?
Well, when I was a younger lad back in the day on the farm, I don't know, I just made that wee bit up, but like in my teens, get into aliens big. The big show back when we were kind of mid-90s growing up, one of the big shows was the X-Files. And was kind of addicted to X-Files. Used to love that. So through that, get into a lot of because we didn't have I know there'll be a lot of youngsters out there, Rob. I'm going to hit them a wee bit of fucking history here. we grew up in a time without the internet. Fucking hold your horses, youngsters. I know what you're thinking. Hey, old man Andrew, what are you talking about? Well, the internet, pre-internet times, you had to get your information from old videotapes that were passed around, books, magazines that you had to import from America and stuff like that, because that's where all the good stuff was. So I used to work in a shop, it's over here, it's called Pound Stretchers, when I was 16, 17, and they had a series of alien videos, like a 4 series pack on VHS video. So I'd bought them along with my X-Files box sets, loads of books about aliens, and then just obviously being a big sci-fi fan, kept on top. So there used to be the odd programme, you had to kind of hunt out a programme about alien abductions and stuff like that on the telly. So that's how I kind of got interested in the aliens and stuff like that. Yourself, sir, yourself?
I was sitting out in the cul-de-sac, I think it was with yourself or Salmon, and
Just to clarify, we have a friend called Stephen Salmon. His nickname was Salmon. You weren't just sitting out in a garden with some salmon.
And this is no the thing which got me into thinking about space and aliens and all that sort of stuff. I've just always been interested more in the kind of extra physical through meditation and sensory kind of awareness, the internal universe, which leads to asking questions about the external universe.
Yeah. But
I remember seeing 3 lights like a triangle in the sky above, and then they kind of kept on going up until they became one light, and then it flashed bright and disappeared. Now that could be a false memory.
Yep.
That could be the real memory, but it's now been fused with footage and ideas of the very similar and well documented triangle kind of light that fuses, and but that's what's happening in my mind. And as always, you know, I'm a curious motherfucker, so the whole idea of the size of the universe and time and all these different things that sort of say to me, they must be fucking there, because it's a big fucking place. Get a grip of yourself if you think otherwise. So, that's why I'm here, talking about aliens.
Yeah, I remember once, again, it could be because at the time I was really into alien stuff and reading about aliens, that I remember seeing a kind of, what I felt was an alien craft in the sky, walking home one day, and I kind of watched, it was a kind of metallic orb.
Metallic.
And metallic, it was a metallic orb from the Sector 9. It was a metallic orb, and I just watched it for about 5 minutes, and I kind of took my eye off it, and when I looked back up, it was gone. Now, I've been mocked relentlessly for years because I divulged this story to some close friends, and as we all know, close friends are always dicks. And we do live quite close to an airport, so could well have been a plane. But there was no like lights around. Like even during the day, you can usually see some sort of kind of light, because they have the lights on during the day. Maybe it was just a plane, I don't know, but it didn't seem plane shaped. I have seen many planes in the sky since, I say, but our airport was used by
military.
It is a military based airport because it's got the longest runway in the UK.
The second longest.
Where's the longest? Is it
Glengarnock?
Glengarnock.
I'm sure one of the, again, someday will correct us, but I'm pretty much sure there's a ex-military base in Glengarnock which has a longer runway. But I'm sure at Press Week they're now starting today, looking to do the space programme and stuff. So,
well, I did read that this week. There was going to be some sort of kind of space programme, European Space Agency, NASA crossover, flying spaceships. I don't know. We'll maybe talk about that later. But yeah, so that's kind of a thing. That just as we're talking about kind of alien spottings, that's kind of like my memory. But as you say, could have been a false memory. Could just have been a plane.
So both of us have some form of experience, personal experience with a mind-bending, interdimensional comedian.
Yeah.
Right, so
planes.
let's fire straight in there then. Ancient aliens.
Cool. So there is a very popular programme on, is it the History Channel? Which, to be fair, seems a bit weird to be on the History Channel, because a lot of ancient alien stuff is interpretation of events and theorising.
Well, I think
which could be said about the whole of history. I understand that, but
I think the whole reason it's on the History Channel is due to that thing we've discussed beforehand, with the idea of you've got to control the counterculture. You know, if it's getting popular enough for people to be interested in it, then we need to take it serious enough to control what aspects of it people will think about and etc. So I take the History Channel stuff. It's enough to wet your lips, but again, I think of it as all misdirectional. But the old classic, you know, like if you think about the basis of every religion, or the rock foundation of every religion is discussions about gods, about Quetzalcoatl through to God, through to the Sumerian gods, the Greek gods, the Chinese gods, the Bon gods, the whatever religion it is,
Aztec gods,
Incan gods. Further you go back, the Dogons. Everybody's talking about these kind of like in India, the Upanishads, and talking about the like Krishna and all these kind of, and they fucking flew about on fucking spaceships and flying things. When you take it literally, like, here's some peasants in the past, like us, looking at the skies, and there was these people that were physically bigger, had more advanced technology, and they referred direct to them as the gods, or, you know, when you take it literally, it to me is far more plausible than a omnipresent, invisible motherfucker that created everything. Again, God, it's far more plausible that there is another species that created a subspecies for whatever reason to do its tasks. And obviously the classic is that a species of intergalactic aliens came here many millions of years ago to mine the gold. They created a hybrid between them and the native hominids and apes. They created this worker. This worker is us. The worker had reduced strength compared to the native ape. It had reduced hearing, eyes, etc., but brainy enough, intelligent enough to be left to do the task, i.e. mine gold. And there's well documented, Michael Tillinger is the author, well documented books on this about the gold mines in South Africa that are hundreds of thousands of years old. So there's a lot of evidence that states from our genes, from our genetic makeup, that we are in fact a genetic amalgamation.
Yeah.
We are almost at the point where we have the science and technology to be able to create a kind of subspecies, interspecies kind of human worker, biological worker,
Yeah.
It's we're talking like 50 years and we'll be able to do the same. So why is it implausible that a more advanced alien could have done it? I think it's far more plausible than actually contemplating what a god is, like an omnipresent biblical god.
Yeah.
But that's definitely one theory, the ancient aliens, that there was some form of extraterrestrial alien that came. And if you've watched any sci-fi, there's fucking hundreds of programs to Stargate all the way,
Yeah. I think the thing about the ancient aliens is there's those lines in the desert in South America. The
Nazca lines.
The Nazca lines.
I'm sitting going, I've flew them. I've seen them for the fucking bird. The bird's eye view.
Well done, you. So there's those sort of things, and then there's like the carvings in some of the temples down there that kind of could be interpreted as gods from the sky coming down and kind of spaceships, if you wish. So I think there's kind of ideas like that we've been visited before. We're probably... This is where it kind of gets complicated for me, because you make a kind of timeline and you have to kind of work out, is it one species of alien that's visiting, or is it several species of aliens visiting? Why have these ones visited before and then it's taken 2,000 years for the next one to visit? Is it some sort of kind of secular thing? I mean, the thing about mining for gold seems very strange to me, because do they not theorise that out in space there's like planets of gold and stuff like that? So if you could go interdimensionally between planets, would you not just go to a star system that had a fucking gold planet?
Well,
that's just why. That's just one. But
no. See what you're saying there, because there's there's big companies at the minute getting ready to bid and to mine the moon and to mine asteroids and whatever else. But none of them are gone or have claimed that they'll be. They've all claimed that they'll be getting various rare earth elements and various minerals and that, but nobody's stated gold.
Yeah.
And I don't think gold is as resource abundant.
But I was just saying, you were saying the ancient aliens who came here. The ancient aliens who came here to mine gold.
Well, maybe this is the gold resource.
Maybe, but I'm just saying, have they not got... Is there no like planets of gold or star clouds of gold that you could just take those minerals from. But I totally kind of
I don't think so.
See what they're saying. Well, I'll fucking build a spaceship and I'll fly around the universe looking for it. But so the ancient aliens, I think, is really, really interesting, because it's the way we've recorded our history. We are at a point now where we can access loads of stuff at the tip of a finger, and it's a kind of way of trying to piece together kind of sort of theories, if you know what I mean, like taking works of art, temple carvings, how our ancient ancestors recorded these interactions with gods, or these stories that they created, and it's trying to see if they can fit into a narrative where it might be a species from some other plane that came and visited us at that time. Why they wouldn't just stick around is another question you'd have to ask. Why they just came for a wee bit and buggered off.
Well, that's it. The kind.
So that's why I always kind of think the ancient aliens, is it an interpretation of a story? Like, it never actually, we weren't visited by ancient aliens. It was just a story. I don't know.
So why would they not stick around? Well,
Yeah.
A classic.
But then you're saying if they've created some sort of subspecies,
Yep.
then maybe that is them sticking around. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe it's like the beginning of Prometheus, the film Prometheus.
Well, that's it. Maybe just like many sci-fi, we are capitalism is a lot bigger than just again transnational corporations, and the Earth is the property of a well-managed property by an international conglomerate, and one of the like a Truman Show or something like this. You know, one of the things is not to. I'm guessing, and I remember seeing an article or a TV thing about in zoos how they're now going away for the kind of like a polar bear just get a big bit of fucking water. They're now trying to paint it particular colours to reflect its natural habitat, get things to make its brain work kind of hard, different kind of puzzles, the way they feed it daily changes, changing routines to make its environment far more stimulating, almost like the Matrix. You know what I mean? Far more stimulating. They created it's a film, but they created a virtual software that basically emulated the real world, or as much as the real world, so that the human brain didn't reject what it was doing to it.
Yeah.
Why is it not plausible if a master alien race can create us, then it can create a system whereby we can't detect it?
Yeah.
That they're actually still here, and that could lead to a number of different kind of questions about different aliens, because we'll talk about the extra physical later. But again, why do we assume that they were physical? Again, maybe they they could have been another extra physical dimension looking to create, and maybe their technological understanding goes way beyond the kind of dense physical spectrum that we at first glance take as all of reality, when, as you know, the physical dense part of reality is a very, very small portion of what reality is, when you take in all the different electromagnetic frequencies and etc, etc. So powerful gods, aliens of the past could have created us. They could have created our religion. They could have left loads and loads of clues, from small flying implements, great stories like the Bhagavad Gita, great fucking poems in Sumeria, etc, etc. Okay, let's fire on to abductions, motherfucker. Cool. Abductions.
Well, in the 90s, fucking every cunt was getting C word. Every person was getting abducted by aliens, but no, that was the thing. They were dicking about with cows. and abducting farmers in the southwest of America. That's how it rolled. So I don't know what these, if the aliens have stopped doing that. That comes back to the kind of idea of does a whale in the ocean know we're tagging it? You know, there was all the stories about people being out in the middle of nowhere or driving alone on the road, seeing bright lights and then waking up the next day, like time loss within abductions. What would be the purpose of abductions by an alien species? These are the sort of questions I need you to answer right now, Rob.
What is the purpose of owning a puppy? What is the purpose of, like you take your puppy to the fucking the vet? How does that perceive that kind of strange procedure of probing and like if there was a farmer, the cows go out, they come back in, they get hooked up to various things. Take that to the next level, and the farm is so complicated that there's the veil gets released every so often to go in and get for whatever reason, or we could. It could be like a sophisticated biological program and process. It could be a testing station. Earth could be a kind of testing pot, an experiment. And you come in to check it out, and I suppose there could be a lot of different reasons. I think with the abduction stuff, obviously it was very popular when X-Files and that kind of stuff was happening. I think there is quite a lot of kind of stories with kind of bright lights, the thingies of time disappearing. It's definitely an interesting one. It's something that I don't think should be quite dismissed in as to the purpose of why, I don't think we would ever know, but there could be. Okay, so human species, as a species, just say that we were like a mongrel race manufactured to do a particular job. Just say that was the case, then you probably would have manufactured, just like you manufacture different robots, etc., for different things within a manufacturing process. You're clicking away like a madman.
I know, sorry, I do apologise.
So just say that in a manufacturing warehouse, you've got again robot for this, a robot for that, robot for that. You give them different abilities. Like the one that punching holes through fucking 4-inch of metal, it has the ability to punch a hole. It's a lot stronger than the other ones. The other ones that are building something maybe have precision. So if you think loads of different species doing different, we're all the same species, human, but all programmed to do different things. And then over time, how the AI or the autonomous intelligence within this new human race develops. That could be of extreme interest to a scientist alien who's looking at different aspects and how they merge and combine and evolve. I'm just theorising here.
No, definitely. I think also we come from a point of view, from a very, even though the world through technology seems to be getting a smaller and smaller place, the world is still a very vast and big thing when you think about scale and stuff like that. So we get a very kind of westernised look at the kind of phenomenon of alien abductions, etc. Whereas a great landscape such as Russia, they have their own kind of alien experiences that are documented. They have their own kind of investigations into UFOs and stuff like that, just because of the political history between the West and East. A lot of that stuff is still now, what, 20, 30 years after the collapse of communism, is still filtering through, still being suppressed. So it's a kind of, so there might be even more kind of research or kind of similarities, if you know what I mean, between experiences on the planet in different areas. It's just that we still can't learn about them because as a species ourselves, we're no the fucking cool, pieced out, all loving guys who can all talk to each other. So there might be stuff there in the kind of Russian and China and these places where there's cases of alien abductions very similar, and it'd be a case of getting all these cases together and kind of seeing if there's any patterns. But that comes back to the fact that people might know that this is happening on a higher level of government, sort of kind of, if we're talking about X-Files secret government, they allowing this to happen as something we've talked about as ancient aliens coming down and anointing priests to build temples and stuff like that. Have aliens right now anointed specialist secret governments to help them with their experiments, to keep information under wraps, to keep us sheeple in a kind of state of not knowing, so we're kind of calm and not crazy like? Could be an idea.
Why, totally. 100%. Why not?
So I think there's a case for that as well, which could come into abduction. I mean, the whole alien thing, I think we kind of say we would discuss this, was just a kind of, we've got several subjects, but we could take ancient aliens and just do an hour and a half on that, or take abducted. It's vast. So if the listening people out there like what they hear and say, can you talk more about abduction, we can come back and maybe do a full episode on one of these topics at some point.
Oh, aye, but
you know what I mean? Because there's just that much information to be kind of gained, and that, even no information, just viewpoints and kind of understandings of viewpoints.
Right, so let's.
Oh, so I did.
Go for it.
I just got to say, it could be like, we're talking about abduction, so aliens are here, they're secret to everybody, they're abducting us. Aliens are here, they're in cahoots with government high officials, they're abducting us. Aliens only here, people are having fascinations, the government are in enabling that, if you know what I mean, as a kind of smokescreen for maybe the government's doing experiments on them.
That's it. Well, I think in every culture throughout time there has been abduction stories. Before there was a thing called an alien, or at different times in history where the common thing wasn't alien, it was a troll, or it was a thingamabob, or some sort of ghoul, or some sort of
the
bogeyman, or
elves or something,
biblical kind of thing, or kind of mythological kind of thing, whatever it was. But there always has been, and I'm guessing a lot of them can be, drunk guy walking home, slips on a path, falls down a ridge, he disappeared, he was abducted by the trolls. It was like, no, he lost his footing in a fucking boggy swamp and fell down a ridge. But you know, the human mind is fit for storytelling.
Definitely.
So we're going to the extra physical.
Yes, let's move on to the extra physical, dude. That sounds like a plan.
The extra physical is a term I actually got from the it's like they're called the International Consciousness Association. It's an organisation founded by a Brazilian guy called Walter Vieira, which was set up to study out-of-body experiences, and they came up with some scientific lingo, technical lingo, to discuss and to describe the concepts. So extra physical means outside of the physical. So that could be like ghosts, it could things beyond their five senses, chemically induced states, mind vampires, dimensional shifting, infrared. What's your
well, if you can imagine a species that has evolved on a different system, or even within this system, that has 100 million years on us, even 60 million years, a billion years on us. You know what I mean? If you look at the aeroplane from the Wright brothers in the early 1900s to jump 60 years, 70 years, the landing men on the moon, jump another 30, 50 years, we've got International Space Station, fully manned, fully operated, 365 days a year. We've got missions to Mars on the platform. I mean, that's in the space of, say, a century. That's just not evolution of a species, but evolution of technology from a species. So if a species has had that evolution jump of 100 million years on us, there is a kind of, I could say, a kind of thought that they might be able to have some sort of technology that cloaks them against the kind of light that we see, the kind of senses that we have evolved could be masking it against us. That's where it comes to kind of infrared spaceships, aliens using kind of like invisible aliens, if you know what I mean. That's where you kind of get the idea that kind of dogs can sense stuff. They might be able to sense, as you say, ghosts, but the ghosts could just be these sort of ancient aliens. So I think from a technology point of view, it's not out of the realms to think that it's possible. From an evolution point of view, if you think a species that has a billion years on us could easily evolve into some sort of kind of shape-shift dimensional species that kind of goes in and out the dimensions that we perceive, that we live within. I don't think it's off the scale to think there's aliens observed. Like an alien could be sitting right beside us right now, watching us, going, "These fuckers are onto us. Let's do something about it."
There could be an entire civilization in the exact same space, like physical space, just like the kind of TV signal and a phone signal is passing right through you and it's sharing the exact same space as your heart, your lungs, and your blood. You know, there could be an entire civilization. You're just in a different frequency or a different rule set that we've not quite understood yet.
So I think the extra physical thing's a very interesting way of thinking about it.
Also with the extra physical, it's like when you go into like a meditation or deep meditation or take kind of drugs, say entheogens, which is a Greek word that means contact with the divine, then you are going to a place inside your mind that's not physical, but inside your mind that's just as big as anything which is external to your mind, because your imagination is not limited in any way, shape or form. So that inside world is actually just as big as our perceived measurements of the external world.
Yeah.
And there's a guy called Terence McKenna, who a lot of people claim was a CIA counter culture operator. But Terence McKenna, he said if there was a God, and that God or aliens wanted to communicate with us, why would they use the word written or verbal? It doesn't make sense. It would take too long to communicate whatever it is they have to communicate. If there was an advanced intelligence that had some way of traversing space, inner space, extra physical space, whatever, advanced technologies or advanced understanding of psyche and emotions and all that kind of stuff, math, then it would communicate it chemically in a chemical download.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to talk about there's only a particular kind of mushrooms and various other drugs that are kind of strange. They don't fit in with the chemistry of the earth, and when you take them you get a fucking like a almost omnipresent download from the masters of the universe. And he described that it makes perfect sense from his understanding. He was a multiple PhD, for his understanding that if there was going to be some sort of supreme intelligence communication, it would be through a full and complete form of communication, not a very limited form of communication like the word can, like
Yeah.
the chemical direct to your brain, which can give you emotion, feeling, experience, as well as use your imagination to form words, music, and every other kind of form of communication, and every experience and everything that you can observe and absorb to communicate. It can do that inside your own mind in a second, and you've got it. That's that, like, chemically induced extra physical what do you call it, alien encounters. So mind vampires, I've got to get that in, just because
You have a very weird obsession with mind vampires, Mr. Wallace.
because they're real.
Well, obviously that's the main reason, but
Well,
that
that
has been a running.
have you seen Westworld? Yes,
I have seen Westworld.
and
yes.
the artificial intelligences cannot see the things that are harming them.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, so he can't see the door, he can't see the whatever. Now, if you were a mind vampire or a mind alien, an alien that could control your hosts,
Yep.
just with your thought, that's one of the things you would do. Is you'd make yourself invisible.
Yep.
To the
Just through suggestion.
well, there's the classic psychological techniques. You've seen the one with the gorilla, and they say, again, there's 20 people on the stage, and they get the audience or the person who's watching to they've all got a basketball, and they're passing the basketball between them, and the person has to count how many times it hits the floor. So they're passing the basketball between them, and they're only looking at the floor because they want to catch when the ball hits the floor. And then at the end they say, did everybody get 20? And most people put their hand up. And then anybody get 21, and a few people put their hand up. Anybody get 19, a few people put their hand up. And then he says, did anybody see the gorilla? And only a few people put their hand up. And then they show you the slow-mo and kind of thing, and there's a guy in a gorilla suit walks right through the whole crowd as they're bouncing the ball off the flare.
Yeah.
And this is like done on a stage, like a fucking theatre stage. But people's the whole audience tune in to just the floor and just the ball hitting the floor,
Yeah.
because they're trying to get that number. And there's many kind of ways Darren Brown uses fucking psychological tricks like that all the time to get people to look at a particular thing, to think in a particular way. And if some fucking savvy human can do it, then why not a more advanced system?
Definitely. There's also this kind of theory that the way we are theorising the universe to be a construct, that because it's seen as a kind of infinite space and could be an infinite loop, that we are almost the aliens, and we could be coming back in time and influence our own selves.
You just jumped to like section 8 there. What's happening?
No. Is that section 8? I thought it was extra physical. I was just saying that could be seen as an extra physical. That's a fucking, what I like to call a tidbit for fucking later on. It lures them in. But that could be, but that kind of evolution of that species could be seen as an extra physical thing. But hey, more about that later, guys. Stay tuned, motherfuckers. Cool.
Shall we jump on to the wonderful topic of technology?
Yes, let's do that. Do you want me to go about technology, dude? You get any stuff? I'll just...
I've got hundreds of stuff, but like technology for me is one of the things that really fascinated me. One of the first things was the inertial dampers in Star Trek. The whole idea that when you accelerated beyond kind of Mach, kind of 6Gs, 7Gs, 8Gs, and you started accelerating super fast to get to warp speed, why we never turned into raspberry jam. And obviously they come up with the inertial dampers, the whole idea that it stops you turning into raspberry jam. You accelerate that fast, you would turn into raspberry jam. So when it comes to technology, there's obviously a lot of physical ideas coming from like Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, and every other sci-fi book, TV program, etc., etc. But the whole idea of faster than light drives, bending space, warp drives, wormholes, again, all this kind of stuff. And at some point, you said it earlier on, at some point the whole idea of the Wright brothers and simple flight would have been, again, so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it was like simple automobiles and again, some people had just moved from horse and cart to automobile, and there's people theorising that they could fly like birds. I think at some point the technology will arrive which will allow us to travel into deep space. At the minute we can send probes into deep space, but we're not really going there for the long haul. But it's like anything, when we'll have shown time and time again, the human race, that if we put our mind and energy and resource to it, we can develop something.
I think you think about I did kind of speak about it earlier, the kind of evolution of flight, but just from a technological point of view, like from 1850s it was like hot air balloons, you know what I mean, to the Wright brothers who were using wood and canvas with small engines to propel their airplanes up, to the way we treat, from that to 100 years later when you've got the space shuttle, which was a machine designed to go into space with rockets and then re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and land to be reused over and over again. The technology to make that happen, the metal, what's the word for using metal? Metallurgy, is that a word?
Aye, sounds good.
Cool, that'll do. The kind of advance in science to develop these sort of usable elements that we could send spaceships up, and different types of metals. Whereas when you think about stuff, when you hear reports from alien crash sites, the famous one obviously being Roswell, the metal, you could crumple it up and then let it go and it would go back into its own shape. We're already seeing science and on this planet getting to a point where they can do all these sort of different things with metals and anti-gravity. The stuff that can propel these kind of UFO ships that we've seen in footage, we're getting towards, hopefully. Is it a case that these space aliens have crashed and we've stolen their technology and used it ourselves like they did Independence Day? I don't know. Could be a case to be seen for that. But I think it becomes interesting in the fact that even if you're just saying there's no aliens, you're theorising about these aliens the way Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica do. The kind of idea of inertial dampers, alright, that's an idea. How do you make that possible so that we can travel at those speeds? So that we can, I think there was a report, was it like the last week, they were talking about how Einstein's theory of using the speed of light to judge stuff could be seen as incorrect, as they're saying that the speed of light might not be the fastest thing. I don't know, did I read that wrong this week? I'm sure I heard something about that.
I read something about that as well, and that's what science is, though. Again, science is just a continuous progression kind of theories until new theories come along to trounce the last shit, you know. So
I mean, I think sadly we are going backwards a little bit when it comes to funding of space programs and funding of the scientific community to kind of produce these sort of leaps forward in technology. There will always be people striving to make these leaps, but it does need a bit of investment.
There's a big thing come out recently, it was in the medical industries in America, how it's all insurance based and all that kind of stuff. There's doctors basically coming out and saying that the mass majority, they were saying like 60 to 70% of stuff happening there is unscientific. Doctors maybe go and they maybe do 7-8 years and get a degree and become a doctor and then go and do further study. But as soon as they move into management and stuff like that, there's other forces at play, and they have to sign things and do things and go against scientific principles, and then they just become kind of managers and stuff. But it still gets heralded as science.
Yeah.
And they're saying about the whole scientific community as a whole is imploding, because there's loads of science that's getting passed off by people who have PhDs and stuff, but it's not actually good science in any way, shape or form. It's just our corporate overlords have said sign it, so we sign it or authorise it. But you're so far deep in the career ladder, etc., that it's just the norm. You don't.
Yeah.
I suppose it's just the norm for a police officer in the Dakota pipeline to smash somebody with a water cannon, like if in any other situation it would be like, no, that's no cool, but it just becomes the norm for them. And a lot of people look at science, he's a scientist, but it's just a human being that the people who tortured people in the fucking camps in the Second World War were scientists. Doesn't mean it's good or bad. They're just kind of one of the things about science is it's funded by a big corporation at the minute. It gets consumer driven, but the good thing about the space program is there is a lot of things like the Elon Musk, the Amazon guy, so like Tesla, Amazon, and other big companies really looking at the kind of idea of commercial space flight, commercial space tourism, and then commercial mineral recovery and precious metal recovery from space. So hopefully we'll see a change in that attitude. But I suppose the biggest thing that has to change then is the American reliance on oil, and the American reliance on a kind of global net strategy of dominance, using military dominance, etc. To once that changes, then we'll develop technology.
Cool. Awesome, dude.
Awesome, dude.
Awesome.
Right, we're moving on to the next one, number 6.
Yeah, let's just jump along.
Species.
So there's a specific species you wanted to talk about, my man.
Well, I was kind of fascinated by the idea that grey aliens, they're small, odd-shaped heads, big eyes, dark eyes. They're just from a kind of amateur kind of design a character for writing kind of perspective. That character would be a cave dweller, no an alien. They're small, forgetting about the nooks and crannies in a cave. Big eyes because it's low light.
Yeah.
And they only come out in dark. That's when people see them. That to me sounds like a Koopa Chapra or a fucking cave dweller. The greys. So maybe that is has links to the inner world or the hollow earth theories, and that there is subspecies or other species on Earth that are or have been perceived as nowadays as aliens, but in the past were maybe as trolls or goblins or whatever, but in terms of documented documented by who, but documented species, there is supposedly a whole host of different species that are communicating with governments and doing a whole host. Who you got? What's the classics?
Well, I think there was kind of the last thing I'd read was there's something possibly up to over 80 different types of aliens that people kind of refer to through the internet and on the chat boards and stuff like that. So we've got the greys, they're the kind of the ones we've most common with, ones we just talked about. The Nordic aliens. So the Nordics they're kind of humans, but they've kind of, they're kind of long blondie hair. These are kind of
Quetzalcoatl. The ones that kind of spread the kind of Atlantis knowledge. A lot of people put them, didn't they?
Well, though I'd read that I'm just having a wee look here, dude. The Syrians aliens. So these are kind of the aquatic aliens. They are known to have come from Sirius B star system. That's why they're called the Sirius aliens. They like water for some reason. So there's the Alpha Draconian aliens. These are kind of the bad guys in most films that you kind of see. They're kind of insect alien. We have the reptilian aliens, which are quite commonly seen or reported. This also comes into the idea of are these reptilian aliens from a different planet, or are those an evolved species that have evolved alongside humans and have been controlling governments? The man to ask about that's David Icke. Also there's the Andromedan aliens. These are almost human-like. It's like the Coneheads in the film Coneheads, except without the big cone. They do have a kind of bigger head. They use telepathy to communicate with us. The Pleiadian aliens.
Pleiadians.
So they have a kind of rounder face, kind of taller, 6 foot tall aliens. These are quite very much like the Nordic aliens. Quite pleasant, quite amenable to us humans. Quite sexy, I'm led to believe. I don't know if that's true. But as I say, there's like, you could spend a wee while going through them all. The ancient Sumerians worshipped the Anunnaki. You know about they guys, Rob?
The Anunnaki.
Anunnaki.
Planet X, Nibiru.
So I believe to have come from the 12th planet in our solar system, which lies just beyond Pluto.
They're the ones that manufactured this.
That is it. They're the ones that came and saw us, helped us. The Arcturian aliens. It's very similar to the Greys, but they're kind of bluey features. They've kind of large heads, blue skin. These are supposed to be like one of the most ancient races in the galaxy. So that's, I don't know, eight kind of species there that I've been able to look up today. Watched a couple of videos about each of them. So if you think there could be a kind of Men in Black system of harbouring these different species, you would think there'd have to be some sort of, this is a very human thing, maybe a very British thing, some sort of committee. You know, if you can imagine all these different types of aliens fighting over or observing planet Earth, is that feasible? Is that a thing that could happen? Is it are they fighting amongst each other on the outskirts? You see a lot of footage from the
if you think
International Space Station. You can see there's maybe different sort of spaceships.
At the Antarctic has a UN agreement that no country can own it, that there won't be war, there'll be no hangway of resources, etc. So there's one place on Earth that all corporations, governments, international bodies, etc. agree on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe where the aliens are.
Yeah, with us. It's.
And if they can do it, if we can do it, and we're fucking crazy warmongering motherfuckers, then.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the different species, Rob? Do you believe there's different species of aliens? Are you open to the fact that might be?
No, I think it would make sense
Concept.
if there was such a thing as an alien. It would make complete sense that it came in different shapes, sizes, biological, extra physical kind of dimensions and variables. That to me would make sense. It's like there is a gazillion different kinds of insect, a gazillion different kinds of mammal, a gazillion different kinds of fish. They all adapt to their unique environments. Even the human species, adapts and changes to its environment, the colour of its skin, its lung capacity, its physical strength, so it makes complete sense, following the kind of natural rules of their environment and evolution and that sort of shizing, that if there was aliens, they would come in a whole host of different
Shapes and sizes.
Shapes and sizes, aye. So aye.
Cool. I'd quite like to meet the Nordic ones. I think they're the sexiest.
just go to Scandinavia.
But they don't have interdimensional space travel as an option. Take me to your sexy planet. Nordic alien. That's what I'd say then. So, if you are listening, interdimensional, extra physical, infrared, invisible aliens, Nordic ones, the sexiest, you can abduct me anytime.
And the recording suddenly stopped.
You should edit this bit out and put like a kind of scratchy recording bit and then just come back yourself and go, Greg. You're not going to though, are you? You're not going to.
I think I will, actually.
Well. So so there's kind of...
there's a lot of different species out there. Definitely there's a lot of... and that was like 8 or something like that. There's...
Yeah.
Again, some of these books and websites list, they say they list hundreds, so it's definitely worth a look if you're into that kind of thing, checking it out. Right, let's go on to the next topic, my man. It is the universe and size.
It's quite big, I'm led to believe. That's the scientific...
It's quite
scientific
big.
Consensus at the moment.
One of the things that always fascinates me, obviously, you're just thinking about the size of the solar system. The scale that they always give, that kind of classic thing where they fit all the planets onto one page. That's no the scale, as well as I know. If they put it all onto one page, then one or two of them, i.e. the sun, would look big, and some of them would be... You would have to make them into dots. They would all just be represented as wee teeny dots. Because the spaces in between some of the further you go out are huge. Absolutely huge.
There was a phone app you could download. And I'm sure it was the moon, our moon, was a pixel on your phone. And that was the scale it used. And then the earth was beside it. And then you went left to right scrolling, and it took you like fucking 20 minutes to scroll all the way to like Jupiter and Saturn and stuff, because it was just that was to real scale. That was the that was the kind of just it. And like the inner system was quite good. Like going to Mars didn't take that long to scroll. as you kept scrolling across to try and go to fucking Jupiter and Saturn, it took ages. Because there is a misrepresentation of scale, which again I think we've spoke about in past podcasts, where it's a human perception of a kind of space and distance and time, whereas we kind of think, oh, it only takes you 8 hours to fly to America. America must be quite close, but it's no. It takes, these are fucking vast distances. It's just that because we've developed technology that takes us there a lot quicker than 200 years ago, there was a kind of imbalance of our perception of distance. That's just for some people. I'm sure the people at NASA have got their scale down to a fucking T.
Well, that's the thing, Ken. It's like you start thinking about space, and you start thinking about time and distance, and using like the proper scale. Then you start to think, fucking hell, our solar system is pretty fucking huge. And then you realise that the solar system is, again, one of an infinite amount of numbers within our galaxy, and that galaxy is an infinite amount within its kind of quadrant, and then that's kind of, it goes on, and you're like, the more you think about it, the size and the scale, the more you conclude that either everything in the night sky is an illusion, or like I just kind of get my head around the sheer size. And if there is that amount of variables in our solar system, galaxy, universe, then there has to be, just on fucking probability and statistics, there has to be another fucking life forms out there. Whether the life forms have evolved to a particular point where they've created technology and a culture that drives them to go and explore, is another thing. But I watched earlier on, I watched a fantastic thing called The Coming War on China by John Pilger,
that's on my to watch list.
the film, and he's getting an American and a Chinese perspective, and the American perspective is America's founded on Christianity, and Christianity is about converting people. So like the whole idea of the kind of military is, we're going to go there, and it's ingrained in the culture, like making a military net run China, whereas the Chinese guy says, again, we're no stupid enough to think that we're the next empire and we're going to rule the world. We don't have the cultural background for that kind of thinking. We built a wall to keep the barbarians out. We're not interested in taking over the world. We're not interested in getting you to convert. He says it's a totally different cultural perspective. Now, if you had aliens on the other side of the world with different, would they evolve language? Would it be anything remotely similar to us? Would they evolve communication technology? Would they evolve intelligence? What frequencies would they vibrate, and how would they adapt to their environment, and all the kind of factors and variables, and would that even be compatible with whatever we are and how we've evolved and developed? And then again, the timescales, with the size of the universe and the size of the solar systems and the galaxies, we could evolve a great species, and by the time we get somewhere else, they could have died out like the dinosaurs. Just for by the time we travel to the nearest kind of inhabitable place, I think, as they say, the stars in the sky, some of them are dead. By the time the light gets to us, that actual star has stopped burning. So, again, if there was a civilization there, it's stopped burning.
It's gone, aye. And it comes to the idea of the ability to manipulate time and space to evolve to a point where that, you can travel these great distances. because time, you go that fast, time stops, time slows down so much. I think what we can say about the whole thing is, we're looking at the whole culture of aliens and the kind of theories and the government covering up. Do you believe aliens have visited us, Rob, or do you believe they are visiting us right now? Do you believe there are aliens here? So I believe there's obviously within our Milky Way galaxy there will be other planets with aliens and cultures on them. I think it would be very stupid not to theorise that. But have they came and visited? Have they found our little corner of the Milky Way?
I suppose some of the questions going to be there is, could we identify aliens even if they were in front of our face? No, I mean we can't even communicate with dolphins. No, I mean they're supposed to be intelligent and cerebral cortex,
if you remember
fires
in Flipper, Flipper had that wee machine that went in the water. Remember that wee guy?
But what I'm getting at is there's plenty of sentient and clever kind of things about us. You know, and we struggle communicating with.
But as we've spoke about all this, we have talked about alien abductions. We've talked about the different types of aliens that are like so.
I definitely think there is physical and extra physical entities that you would call aliens, but again, extra physical entities that are beyond our understanding, communication, etc. And through taking hallucinogens, entheogens, etc., and inner mind work, you can communicate in a non-physical way with extra physical beings from inter and extra dimensional places. Whether they come from Sirius B or the Pleiades, I don't know, but they I definitely think that they're there because they come up in every culture. They come up in every. Yep.
So that I have theorised and worked my own. You know, you kind of work your own kind of theories about these things, and I'm at a point now where I take on board that that's probably the better possibility of alien contact, is a kind of on a kind of higher level of consciousness possibly, whereas alien greys and stuff like that, I don't know if that's a kind of double-handed switch in the part of governments to misinform populations. Roswell was the incident happened at the close to the base where they ran the nuclear bombs, or the atomic bombs at the time. So the government say aliens have crashed there. No, they're not, it's a weather balloon. And you as a populace or as a Soviet spy who's reading up in these newspapers says, what's going on there? What's going on with all this alien stuff? And you're misinformed to look that way. So maybe governments have been using those type of aliens, those type of situations, those abduction stories to misinform populace, to keep us, what's in Area 51? Oh, it's specialist alien craft stuff they've got. No, they're just developing very, very smart technologies to bomb the shit out of people or to start exploring space but don't want you to know about it. The late 80s, early 90s, there was reports over Belgium and Holland about these triangular spaceships. Very top secret stuff happening at bases in Britain. Then the Gulf War happens and what do we deploy for the first time? Triangular airplanes, stealth bombers underneath radar. So I'm a bit on the fence when it comes to actual the species of aliens we've discussed visiting us, is it a switcheroo by the governments? You know what I mean? Whereas I'm quite more open nowadays to think about the grandeur of space, and is it interdimensional? Is it aliens that have evolved to a consciousness above us that kind of try and interact with us, where it's not a kind of physical being, like a grey or a reptilian, and a kind of Independence Day style takeover? Or probably like District 9, which is a fucking brilliant sci-fi film. You know, that kind of idea. Have we been duped for the last 60 years by kind of people with a kind of flickering of an idea to disinform and take people's views away from what's actually happening at top secret government bases? Could be. It's a theory I kind of have thought more and more about lately when it comes to aliens, and that's maybe why my enthusiasm for investigating aliens has kind of waned slightly.
Aye.
As Greg brings the podcast down, thank you, you're welcome. There's a fucking downer for you folks. So yeah, it's okay. You know, I'm here to bring us all down on a sad note.
I definitely think it's aliens are real. They fucking made us. Let's get a grip here. We're a genetically manipulated fucking orangutan with some fucking rhesus negative blood, and we fucking were forced evolution into a minor. How else were the pyramids built? How else was fucking any of the great sagas and stories written? The Bhagavad Gita, the fucking Gilgamesh, etc. It's written in the clay tablets of Sumeria and various other cultures that were directly created by gods the day they're bidding, and again, it's all written there, it's all there in our history. But again, we're their folk. The funny thing is, if you say you believe in fucking aliens, or again, in the past, the ancient kind of astronaut theory, you're laughed at. But if you say you believe in Jesus, it's almost accepted. It doesn't compute to me. One, you can fin in every culture.
I laugh at them.
You can fin in all the cultures, you can read about it. There's physical stuff, there's statues, there's script, there's kind of common kind of themes that run through multiple cultures. Yeah, I suppose everybody has season. They want to experience different things.
Yeah. Cool.
Pretty awesome. So, to the good people of the interwebby, which is pretty similar to the interwebby.
It's very similar. Almost exactly similar, just spelt differently.
If you have any different theories, thoughts and ideas,
yes, please let us know.
Any kind of alien, extra-physical, because there probably will be some fucking fantastic ideas and concepts that we haven't scratched on.
First of all, they listen to this podcast, so they're very highly intelligent people.
That's true.
You know
that's true.
They're not going to have fucking shitey series about aliens. They listen to the best podcast on the Interloo.
Interlebby.
Interlebby. So let us know on the Facebook page. We also post on Masato Toys forums. Let us know on there, guys. Email us, Facebook messages, Twitter us. Hit us up with your alien ideas. What have we fundamentally got wrong this evening? Because
don't ask that as a question. That'll be
fucking we'll be inundated. Whole fuck nuggets. This is what's wrong with your fucking stupid podcast. This is what you get wrong. I was contacted by a grey. He thinks you're dicks.
And he's definitely not a cave dweller. Get grips.
Get a grip, you fucking idiots.
That's the thing, Ken. There is loads of different ideas out there. Obviously, the universe is a big place. The imagination is an even bigger place. So there's plenty of ideas. But good to hear some differing, something new. I know that you read a lot of
But
sci-fi.
don't make something up.
Oh no,
Don't
not
make
for
something
sure,
up.
but
I want real alien encounters reported back to us. If you say,
like
oh,
none of the stuff that we talked about the night would have started
None of
as
this
somebody
pish.
making shit up, you know.
don't just make stuff up to entertain us. If you've been abducted by an alien, you let us know. Tell us what it was like. If it's one of the big Nordic ones, let me know, especially because I heard they were the sexy ones.
Well, there is there's some real crazy stuff on the internet, so I'm sure.
I'm sure there is, Rob.
I'm sure the stuff that we have talked about has been pretty tame compared to some other conversations that people are having in some corner of the interweb. You know, so definitely get in contact. We have everythingsillusion.com, the website where you may be listening. Maybe you're listening on iTunes, but we communicate on Facebook and Twitter, as Greg said. You find that on the website and Masato Toys Forum, and the podcast is sponsored by Smartphone Media Production. It's a fantastic book for anyone looking to use the power of their smartphone to communicate ideas. If you're an activist, business, entrepreneur, etc., and you want to get your ideas sorted, learn how to create media and shovel your shit out, then Smartphone Media Production is a book for you. £10, smartphonemediaproduction.com. How can they follow you, Greg?
They can follow, well, if you're a telepathic alien, through the mind. if you're a human being with a computer, through Twitter. at B for the CP, BFAETHECP. You'll get loads of hilarious retweets and memes.
There we go, good people of the internet. And enjoy life. Don't be scared to dream big. And look at the stars for inspiration.
Live long and use the force.
Out of the entire podcast, that's the thing that'll get people, and they'll be like, and that fucker didn't even ken the fucking right thing to say.
Doesn't know the right thing for Battlestar Galactica, then.
Cheery bye.
Bye.
Everything is an Illusion podcast is brought to you by Smartphone Media Production, the book. Use the power of your smartphone to create media for your business, project or group. Smartphone Media Production will show you how to plan, capture, edit, distribute and track your visions, all from your phone. The book includes cheat guides, best apps, worked examples and more. Get it at smartphonemediaproduction.com. And The Energetic Mind. Inspirational, thought-provoking images on t-shirts, canvases and more at theenergeticmind.com. Thank you, and remember, always question everything.